Hey everybody, it's Matt Mayoko at NBC Sports Bay Area bringing you an update. Friday afternoon, 49ers have released their injury report for their Week 14 game against the Chicago Bears. But first, this video is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery, located in Moraga, California. It's a brewery, it's a restaurant. They have a great space, a beer garden, and everything you want as far as styles of beer and also styles of food. Wide array of menu items. So check that out in Moraga. The next time you're in Moraga, or heck, it's worth a special trip to Moraga for that. And also, it's coming soon to the Livery in Danville. Okay, so the 49ers did release their injury report for Friday. The only real movement is that Nick Bosa isn't out, but he's questionable. It means he's out. I don't know that I can ever recall a player who's listed as doubtful playing in the game, but it does show that he's making some strides and improvement, and perhaps he can be available for the Thursday game against the LA Rams. Aaron Banks has not fully cleared through concussion protocol, but he seems to be on the right steps toward that. 49ers list him as questionable. I still think the 49ers would be wise to start Ben Bartch at left guard, regardless of whether Aaron Banks is fully cleared or not. Ben Bartch started the game against Buffalo. I think the 49ers should see what they have in Ben Bartch. And so with Banks, might be wise, even if they suit him up, just to have him in a backup role and then determine for the Thursday game what they want to do there. So Banks is questionable. Talanoa Hufanga remains on injured reserve. He is questionable for this game. I don't know that he'll be activated for this game off of injured reserve. That's a TBD. And then Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, special teamer, backup linebacker. He is also questionable. So the guys who are out, running back Jordan Mason, he'll be going on injured reserve on Saturday. 49ers will have some roster moves on Saturday. Trent Williams is out for another game with his ankle injury. Dre Greenlaw will not play in this game. He's been ruled out. He remains on the physically unable to perform list. 49ers do expect to activate him off that list in order to play against the Rams. And then a late addition later in the week, George Odom sustained a knee injury, so special teamer George Odom will not be available for this game. Okay, so the 49ers, do we even talk about, their slim playoff hopes? They are 5-7. Seattle is 7-5, leading the division, and then Arizona and the Rams both are 6-6. So a key game in the NFC West on Sunday, kicking off right around the same time as the 49ers and the Bears. It's Seattle at Arizona. The 49ers are hoping to string some wins together, which honestly they haven't shown that they're capable of doing yet this season. But if they can get to that 9-8 mark, they'd have to run the table to go 10-7. That seems unlikely. But how likely is it that the teams in the NFC West all finish 9-8 or 8-9? And so if that's the case, the 49ers, if they can win four of their final 5 games, that would put them 9 wins. But I do believe they need Seattle to lose at Arizona or Arizona to win at Seattle. And that would put the two teams atop the NFC West at 7-6. The Rams play at the Bills. Of course, anytime an NFC West team plays a non-division team, the 49ers are hoping that team loses. So Rams right now are 6-6. Again, probably just wasting our breath on this because the 49ers have to be able to show that they can string wins together, and they haven't been able to do that. And, there are certainly reasons why. I've touched on some of these earlier about, just the number of defensive players, starters from a year ago who aren't on the field this season. And even when they are out there, in the case of Fred Warner, banged up, not playing at full strength. Charvarius Ward, going through a lot of issues, and he was out for a month through bereavement leave. And Diamador Lenore, who was a starter last season, obviously, he's returning to the lineup, should be available this week. He is no longer on the injury report. And then offensively, 49ers are in a spot right now where They can't score touchdowns. 49ers defense is in a spot where they can't stop giving up touchdowns. I'm talking about red zone production. 49ers this season given up a point or a touchdown more per game on defense, scoring a touchdown less per game on offense. And kind of the thing that kind of stands out to me is just how they haven't fallen off in total yards as much as you would expect them to with all the injuries. Last year, defensively, they were, in fact, it's kind of weird. They're giving up 6 more yards per game defensively than a year ago, but their defensive ranking and total yards has actually dropped from eighth last year to fifth this year. Dropped meaning they've gotten better. Offensively, last year they were second in the league. This year they're seventh in the league. So you're talking about two, offense and defense that both rank in the top 7 in the NFL this season. However, when you swing it to points scored, points allowed, 49ers are 24th. Points scored, they're middle of the pack. And then the red zone is the big one. The red zone this year, they're 27th in the league in scoring touchdowns when they get inside the red zone. Defensively, they're 31st. So I think that kind of goes hand in hand with special teams. That's been an area where you can obviously see the 49ers have declined significantly. And, I'm not sure how statistically they stack up to other teams in the NFL. It sure seems to me that every week there are some major special teams blunders around the league. But you and I, having watched the 49ers this season, we can tell you, right? We have the evidence, the eye evidence that from week 2, that game in Minnesota, and basically every week since, the 49ers have made some very significant special teams blunders. Okay, so this week, I always do my 5 to watch, 5 players to watch for the 49ers. And so my 5 to watch this week, Jair Brown. Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa are the starting safeties. I think they will be the starting safeties for the long term, at least 2 more years after this. But Brown last year, when he played sparingly, still seemed to come up with some big plays. He needs to come up with some big plays for the 49ers as Talanoa Hufanga is close to getting back in the lineup. Brown only 1 interception this season, no forced fumbles, no fumble recoveries. And Caleb Williams, the quarterback for the Bears, has been very good about taking care of the football. Jair Brown has to make his presence felt. He has to come up with a takeaway in this game. Sam Okawanu, likely to get another start at defensive end for the 49ers with Nick Bosa doubtful for this game. Okawanu has 3 sacks on the season. Caleb Williams has been sacked the most of any quarterback in the NFL this year, 49 times. Sam Okawanu might not be a starter in the future for the 49ers, but he is one of many players, backup players, who have to take advantage of their opportunities over these final stretch of games in order to prove that there should be a spot on the roster for him in 2025. Ben Bartch, touched on him briefly. He legitimately has a chance to be a starter for the 49ers next season with Aaron Banks scheduled for unrestricted free agency. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. If he plays in this game and he plays well like he did against Buffalo, of course, there were conditions out there that made it very difficult on defensive linemen for both teams. But Ben Bartch, a guy who has 20 starts with the Jacksonville Jaguars in his career before coming to the 49ers, he legitimately has a chance to show that he is starter material, because I'm not sure 100% you can say that the 49ers are going to go out and get a starter in the draft. Or if they do, will it be a guard? Will it be a center? I don't know if tackle is a possibility, but 49ers have to kind of go into the offseason feeling good about 5 starting offensive linemen. Brock Purdy, they're coming out of the woodwork for Brock Purdy. Even though that he ranks 7th in the NFL in QBR, he will get his big-time contract. There's no question about it. He has to kind of get his mojo back, though. What he has to do Sunday against a defense that's a little bit susceptible, or at least just, it'll be a fast track, good weather, all that. Brock Purdy has to get back on track. He has to get the ball to George Kittle, to Juwan Jennings, to Deebo Samuel. Has to get Ricky Pearsall more into it. 49ers have to move the football. They have to sustain some success in the season on a high note, just so that everybody has those good vibes, the vibes that we're missing this offseason into training camp and then throughout this season. And then the other guy, the last guy, the fifth or the number one player to watch, Isaac Garindo. This is a guy that played wide receiver throughout his early years, through high school. So he has that playmaking ability, catching passes out of the backfield. He has to show that he's spot on blitz pickup, can catch passes out of the backfield, and then show that size and speed and run the ball effectively. And guess what? If he finishes the season strong, there is a chance that he can move up the depth chart and be Christian McCaffrey's backup for 2025. Jordan Mason is a restricted free agent, so it remains to be seen what the 49ers do there. But those are the five guys that I'm keeping an eye on, and you should keep an eye on Sunday when the 49ers play the Chicago Bears as well. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't yet, check out my last video. It's with Kim Fortino. She is the photographer of the 49ers who wore shorts on the sideline while taking pictures of the Buffalo Bills and the 49ers game. She went viral. Some people thought, like, what the heck is going on? She must be from Western New York. Nope, she's not from Western New York. She's employed by the 49ers. She's a Bay Area native. Check out her story. It's fascinating. One of the really good people who work for the 49ers, so it's fun to catch up with her and kind of get her perspective on what's going on with what happened during the snowstorm in Orchard Park and why she wears shorts during games. There's a good reason for it. So check that out. And thank you for watching this video. And that is it for now.